Welcome to another Motley Croc show adventure, or whatever you want to call it. It's been a long week. We got a lot coming up, a lot of things happening. So we are going to bring in the Manic Satanic, which I'm glad is here, by the way. What's up, buddy?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. We're letting people kind of trickle in a little bit, but we got some shit we can talk about. You get some of that stuff I text today. We're talking about crazy shit.
What's that?
There's just some crazy shit out there.
Yeah, there sure is, man. I was actually, shit's been friggin' nuts. Yeah, the emergency alert texts are.
I mean, I just don't even understand that, honestly. So
they come through every now and again. You know, it's
I mean, they were talking. So I think that the conspiracy was that they were gonna activate something ridiculous, or I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like there's just weird shit. I guess we'll talk about some stuff. There's some other things I want to ask Brittany about. There's I sent her some stuff on where people were talking about. They're slowly introducing alien stuff, right? Because people are into this stuff right now. Like it's a thing. Sure. I mean, because they said they're going to be in full swing by 2027.
Full swing, yeah. That's.
I've been hearing that. Like, I'm not sure how much I'm going. I mean, I heard a lot of shit when I was a kid too. I watched TV and it never really.
Yeah.
We were all supposed to die up in 2012. God was coming back, and it was the end of the world or whatever. The end of the world.
I remember that. You missed the bus.
Yeah, 2012, right? And they're like, no, it was 2000. They meant 2020 with COVID. I'm like, oh, is that what they meant? Sounds like you're,
Right. And then he still hasn't come back, or she, whoever.
Well, would he want to? And would he? I wouldn't even want to. I'd be like, just let that. It's a failed abortion, Dad. Let's move to the next galaxy.
Right? It's like freaking, going on vacation to Beirut, so somewhere you don't want to go.
But, yeah, I don't know why you want to come back to this planet at all with the way people are acting. I think there's a lot to it, I think we got Bumblebee. But anyways,
yes, he is.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good.
But yeah, so I think we got a lot of things in the planet like that's acting up, and I think a lot of it's ridiculous. I think some of the stuff they're putting out there. I mean, if anybody's in the comments, or if you can comment, let me know if you guys seen or heard anything like that. But it just seems everything's over the top. But it's not the first time I've heard this whacked out shit, and then you're like, okay,
it's an over the top time to be alive.
I have an opinion. I think. Here's a theory. I think everybody's just so tired of the bullshit that the humans are doing. What's up, Seth? That the humans are doing, that they're just making up all kinds of propaganda and live in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I believe that. It's easy to escape that way. Hey, Seth. I was speaking of weird shit. I watched a documentary today, Brittany, about the lights over Texas and Dublin, and there was some interesting stuff, like how many people had sightings in a really short area and a short amount of time. It was pretty cool. I have to finish watching it. It just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, that was Encounters, correct? That's the one by Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we've been monitoring that one for a while because he's all excited about being involved in it again and putting out new stories.
Was it a good
episode? Was good. It's funny how many people are like, I told my wife, don't tell anybody because nobody will believe us. And I was like, yeah, I get that. Especially, I don't know.
Kill us. Yo, Jeff, if you and I were out one, what's up, Mr. Kemp? Good to see you, buddy. If you and I, Jeff, were cruising around, like Brittany would be a different story because she has like all this intel and top secret clearance and cards and all that shit that we don't get, eye scans and stuff. But and I saw some aliens, like picking up some shit on the side of the road. I'm not telling anybody, dude.
They put us away. Besides
not believing us, they kill us. Or me and you rape somebody. That's going to be the next thing. Oh, Jeff and Troy raped someone. Let's get them out of here. We'll blame they raped somebody, which I've never done in my life, and that's shit. And there's a lot of people.
You need it, by the way, to qualify.
Hey, Craig.
I mean, I might have happened to me once or twice when I was asleep, but don't fall asleep around Daniel. Is that why you haven't let him come to your house yet?
No, it's because I've been so busy, man. The house that I was supposed to close on next Friday didn't appraise. again. So I told her, just kill the deal. I don't have the patience for it. And they keep trying to revive it. And I spoke to my agent today and I said, look, I'm running out of patience, and she's like, well, you should try being patient because all the agents are talking about kicking in some of their commission to try to make it work. I said, well, they're not doing it for me.
Exactly.
That's for themselves.
Like, oh, that is a small guy. And he really deserves to have this house. So we're going to, kick in some of our money. I've been hemorrhaging money in friggin' inspection fees and appraisals. How about kicking some of that back my way? But I mean, if it does work, I'll get the house for $23,000 less than I thought I was going to. So I'm cool with that.
Well, fingers crossed it works out for you.
Thank you. I was actually, but as soon as it was done, I was over this house. I'm looking at other ones, but I gave my notice to my landlord for November 15th. So I'm definitely, the clock is ticking.
It's because it doesn't have a sit-in living room. Like, I get it.
I'm telling you, it actually has a sunken bonus room, but it's only about that, that high up. So
I mean, like full retro, like full.
Oh, I'd love that with like the fire, like the orange fireplace.
Yeah.
Thing, and that'd be badass. I'd love a place like that.
I love that stuff.
These are where you're fucking. I would have green shag carpet, and I would have a red velvet fucking bathrobe. I'd be walking around my bathrobe all day, dude. Smoking weed.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, come on in,
Let
man.
me tell you.
Ascot too, though. You got to rock the ascot with the bathrobe.
Yes.
Like smoking jacket style. That's what we'll get you. Red velvet, black.
Yeah, smoking jacket. Yeah, that'll do it. That's where it's at.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
If you
be able to do that,
if you just like search like Zillow late at night, just pick like open it up, right? Don't go to like the cities, but like go on the outer rims, like where you see these little dots like pop up. That's where you find those houses. Like the retro still integrated house. And I like go through them and I found several with like the sunken in living rooms where they've actually had the sofas like built and created to fit in the sunk because you just can't find stuff in that. I've shown that stuff to John and John's like, oh, I hate those. You can't have those. It's so dated. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I would buy that and like turn it into like an Airbnb 1970s style and do all retro in the house. Like, I know. I'm like, no.
You have to give them the keys with an Afro wig on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like living in your past is awesome. Like just remembering all those good times. I think that's because, I mean, now, geez, man, I don't even know what to say.
Because today is shit.
Today is shit, though.
Like, I prefer
shit.
Today is shit, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can try it. I know some people are like, oh, positive. You got to think positive. That doesn't listen to me. I've been thinking positive about a lot of things, dude, and you still get more shit in one hand than you do anything else.
I'm positive.
So you just have to work. Well, here's the secret. Once you realize that nobody gives a shit about you and you work harder, you'll understand that you get somewhere. Nobody cares. Nobody's giving you shit because they're going to pitch in their money. Fuck that.
Yeah, somebody at work was telling me how much Trump, wants them to succeed and he cares about them. I was like, you know what? When the day a politician fucking cares about somebody that's not his family or somebody that's going to help him along, the day.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a politician because I don't. I told you, this is what I believe, man. I believe in keeping a nice circle of family and friends, And, I have to also say I live in a neighborhood, so I've got some cool people in my neighborhood, man, that I would look out for. And then there's some I would have to take all their resources. I mean, that's just.
I wouldn't want to. God, folks. You don't want to be near Troy during the purge.
We're at the wolf's at the door, man. You better be ready. You better kill the wolf. That's all I got to say.
There you go, dude. I can see you walking down the street with fucking 2 huge Crocs on a chain.
Oh yeah.
No, it's just like I'm used to always being an extreme person, so I'm going to continue to be an extreme person. But I've got some good neighbors, man, and there's good people in my neighborhood, man, and we talk in the evenings and stuff, sometimes all hours of the night. And my neighbor to the catty corner now has decorated his house up in Halloween. It's so cool to look out my window and see some decor like that, bro. And so doing it for the kids and people are coming by, and I like that. That's that unity you build up. Other than that, dude, as far as whatever else happens, dude, I really don't care what's going on in this county and that county and what's going on in your state. I don't live in that state for that reason. Leave that shit in that state. Don't bring it here.
Well, what's
Even
worse
though we're
about it, though?
hateful, crap, ridiculous, whatever people are crap or whatever Florida is.
Ricky Martin. What up,
It's
dude?
not true, dude? I love Florida. Yesterday ruled my parents bought a 4-bedroom, 2-bath family room, pool, 2-door garage in 1973 for $18,000. Yeah, dude.
There you go.
Man, that's my closing costs are $18,000.
I know. It's not the same. It's not the same time anymore. What's up,
What's up,
Ricky?
dude?
Dude, I bought a house in Seattle in 2004, and I paid $250,000 for it. It was a small city house on a postage stamp lot. My ex-wife sent me a listing for it, $890,000. I bought it for $250, sold it for $3.
Should have kept it.
Oh, dude, I should have kept all of them.
So as part of my, I want to tell you this, Jeff, is because you're going to appreciate this. You know, I don't know if you watch Ricky Martin stories. I do.
Of course.
I check them out.
else
I
can
watch
say
them.
Ricky Martin stories are like, you know, the Marilyn Manson song "Be Obscene" is perfect for that because he's advanced beyond Guns N' Roses. That motherfucker right there. He's way up there with he's the obscene mob. So listen. So I figured out a way.
Ricky.
I figured out a way to rig up a skeleton in honor of Ricky, and I'm going to put a beard on it, vomiting repeatedly into a trash can. I figured out a way to do it.
Have an alligator.
It's gonna run consistently, bro, and it's gonna be every time I run, it'll be like that's fucking Ricky. I'm gonna get a whole hat and write fucking suicidal tendencies under it or something, dude. Put it on backwards, and then with a black beard, it's just gonna vomit into the garbage can. And that's fucking Ricky, bro, for my front yard. So everyone who wants to know, come by. That's my boy Ricky right there. Follow him, Ricky Martin. One of the craziest people I've ever seen, dude. I mean,
that's dope.
Slow down, man, because I want to keep you around a little bit, dude. I know you are. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure you are. So, yeah, folks, a part of my Halloween decorations at my front of my property will have a vomiting skeleton, and it will be in honor of Ricky Martin, dude. In honor of Ricky Martin.
Hey, Brad.
Remember that night he just throws up and he makes room. Oh, you remember we were out that night, Ricky, and he was talking to us, and he drank so much beer, just came back out when he was talking. He's like, yo, dude. It just came out, and he kept talking through
kept on talking, kept on drinking.
I know, bro. He's like, oh, I got more room.
Waiting for his DD to show up, his designated driver. Love it.
Steal.
We all miss Ricky Martin, man.
Bring me on
I know you will. Can't do it right now because we all will, Ricky. You just keep that in there, man. Don't worry. You'll see, bro. I got you set up. You'll be able to see it.
I'm that person. Like if somebody throws up, I'm throwing up with you. Like I can't. The dry heaving sound. Oh no, I'm done. I'm done.
My theme is good. I haven't had as much time. Thank God I've got a few more days because just working on getting everything ready for Brett and him to get here too. Want to make sure it's all set, and then I'm going to finish up on my decor. But
Brett, are you on the road?
I think he's leaving in. I see that he's here. He's loading right now. He's loading up and cleaning out the rest of his house. He said, "What's up, people?" But yeah, I believe he's going to be on the road. He said by Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Nice, Brett, Saturday.
That's dope. It's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, so everybody be down. We'll be able to do. I'd like to try to do a live show with everybody at the same time. I mean, I know it's hard for Jimmy to get over because he's there and Brittany too. But you're close enough, Jeff. We could probably do a live show.
Yeah, dude.
All of us, dude, would be pretty cool. You know,
that'd be fun.
You know that.
At least I could rig it up to where we could do that live from the movie room or whatever.
Plus, I'll get to see the Cappy, dude. That's huge.
Oh man, that's
big.
I gotta tell you, man, that's one of the coolest shit. It's the coolest thing, man. Like, I do a lot of stuff, but that's a lot of fun. He's just a lot of fun, and the fact that they're like little dogs and they're very smart, man, it blows my mind.
Oh, dude, I'm psyched. I'm psyched to meet him for sure.
It's so weird.
You look like Sriracha, dude.
Jägerweiser. Wait, what you got going on there?
It's so weird for me, like thinking Brett's coming back and like gonna be here because it's like I'm gaining like my childhood another one of my childhood brothers back. It's weird, right?
Yeah,
it's weird.
Crazy for you because you were
so
little.
Bizarre.
Then.
I was little, but like he would like, yeah, like I don't have many memories where he's not in them from being really.
He is. He's awesome, dude.
And Ricky posted a memory today of us in his first trip down to the Everglades with me. We found a lot of shit.
We did, man. That's when Ricky got fucking tore up in the hallway of that hotel by that python.
Yeah, he also got tore up.
It was too long. I remember.
Tomato Mouth, the Cuban Nightingale, got him too.
Yep. That was a good time. We had a good time.
Man,
Dude, that was a long time
I haven't
ago.
been down there in a dog's age, man.
That was a long
Get
time
ready.
ago.
Come October, I'll be out in the
Get ready.
sandhills looking for hognose.
I'm excited because I'm ready for Halloween Horror Nights, to be quite honest with you. I've been like ticking the time bomb and I'm waiting
go
for
to
Brett
it?
so
I
we can
wanna
all
go
go
too,
as a
but wait.
game.
We also got to go to the
Hollow
Busch
Stream.
Gardens one too. They got Dead Vegas there. Elvis is there, bro. I got to go see his big fat ass dead. Come on in. Come on into my.
Only if he has a toilet stuck to his ass the whole time. That would
No,
make
he's
me
actually
happy.
standing up, and there's like it looks violent, like it's Vegas, dude. And Elvis is like wandering around. He's like, "Come on in." Come on.
Oh, this
Oh
I
my
gotta
God.
see. I have a
Yeah,
friend
we got to do that.
World, but not
Come
at
on in, it's a
Push.
race. We should go, buddy. We should go.
Yeah, it's
But
got
we're
to be a
definitely doing
good.
Halloween Horror Nights, man. I'd like that too. And if anybody's
I
watching,
talked to
you know,
Kim.
Craig or
I
anybody,
told
can give us some
Kim.
dates to meet us.
Yeah, I told Kim already, and she's like, "I'm down. Just tell me when. I'll be here." I'm
Kimbo
like,
Slice,
"We'll
Kim?
do it in October." Yeah,
Kimbo Slice. All right.
Kimbo. So I talked to her about coming.
Kimbo
Yeah.
Slice. She'll go too. She's real into that stuff as well. Listen, so Jimmy and I years ago we went to Halloween Horror Nights, and I think I said it last week, but we sat in this thing, Brittany, and the car's parked in Lakeland. The Rob Zombie Dragula car is in Lakeland at that big antique shop.
What's it doing there?
Yeah, whoever owns a big section of the Lakeland Antique Mall, I think it's called. You guys should go check it out. That fucking place is Jeff. We got to go.
I'm down. I need some antiques.
Bro, you don't understand. Like it's like 6 Walmarts stuck together of just everybody has a gigantic booth, and somebody.
I love antique malls, man.
Dude, somebody has the theme park shit. So
Nice.
somebody's got all the stuff from Animal Kingdom, like these tables that are carved out of giraffes and for sale. All the Halloween Horror Nights from like 22 and up, the statues, the car. I went in and took a picture of myself on the car, and I go, holy shit, this is the one that Jimmy and I sat in when we was in when Rob Zombie was at Universal.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, how weird. What a small world that's even closer.
I need some cool old shit for the house, man. I want a lot of like vintage animal handling posters and see if Ricky can hook me up with a picture of his grandpa back in the day and shit like that, like to hang up. I got the Ross Allen stuff, and so
retro.
Yeah, I love all that shit, man. And then I've been looking at old hardcore posters from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, shit like that. I want to do.
If anybody finds, which is it's not going to be possible, but I think it'd be awesome when you go by theme park stuff to have the original Jaws head and put that in my lake out by my dock.
That'd be dope.
It comes out of the water, the animatronic one. Like if I could find somebody at like Universal that was like, yeah, they're looking to get rid of this and just auction it off, I'd be like,
we just make one
there tomorrow.
Yeah, put it in the kids' tub.
But I mean, like, think about it. Do you remember Jaws? Like when you come around, there's like, there's no survivors. Yeah, and you got the one Jaws head that comes out inside.
Jaws head popped out of the water.
Yeah, inside there was a couple of them now because there was like the first one when like they're like, oh, I see the tail or like the fin, and it like was coming around the other side of the boat, and then when you go in and you hide inside the boathouse,
the boathouse. Yep.
And then that one comes out and it like goes and bites the boat. That's the one I want.
When the whole boathouse shakes, you can flying out.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was old enough to experience Jaws popping out of the water at Universal.
Oh my God, me too, man! What a great time, And I really don't. I think the Simpsons are cool, but not cooler than Back to the Future. And I cannot believe they took the Back to the Future ride. I mean, there's still people pissed about that to this day. I mean, the Simpsons are cool, but it had to be a funny deal, man.
Look, I love the Mummy, but I miss King Kong.
They need to smarten up.
I love the Mummy ride, though. I remember King Kong. Didn't the Mummy also used to be? Which one used to be Indiana Jones?
That's out in California.
No, maybe I wrote it there. I don't know.
Disneyland California has
Indiana Jones show where the ball rolls out. But
the stunt show. Remember that too? Yeah, they got rid of that, right?
Yep.
No, the stunt show.
You remember? Brittany won't remember this. I know Brittany will remember this because by the time Brittany was old enough to go, she wouldn't remember. But you remember they used to do a live show of Ghostbusters at the end of the street.
I remember that show. Don't tell me Slimer was actually float above the audience.
I know you remember that. But there was actually a Ghostbusters ride at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I missed that.
And you would go inside and you'd go in these different rooms. Remember, Jeff? And then the doors would fly open, a girl would be on top of the building, and she starts looking around and shooting lasers over you. That was an actual ride there, and they discontinued it, Brittany. It was a real Ghostbusters ride.
Why would they do that? Like, the show was great.
know.
I loved the show because I remember sitting in the audience looking up, and Slimer would like slime you, like he would be a hologram above you, which was really cool.
That
but
I
like,
remember too.
I really, and then they switched it and did because people really wanted the Ghostbusters back. Like, they really wanted it back, and they started doing the Beetlejuice Ghostbuster crossover show in New York. And it just didn't do as well. Like, I understand that they're trying to like update with the times, but there's still these nostalgic classic rides. Like, you just can't get rid of it. Like, Spielberg has a contract, so E.T. won't go away. But he also should have kept the contract with Jaws. Like, Jaws should not have gone away for Harry Potter. I'm sorry. Like, I love Harry Potter. Don't get me wrong.
Jaws was cool and everything, but Harry Potter can be there too. I like the Harry Potter stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I like it too, but I'm saying built it elsewhere. Like, why did we have to get rid of it? I love Jaws.
The Prayer Warriors
today.
They didn't even want Brittany to see that, dude. The Prayer Warriors. You remember that, Brittany?
What? With what?
When Harry Potter first came out, forget about it, dude. It was like an evangelistic night. They were like, boycott AMC for showing children.
Yeah, it's satanic. It's witchcraft.
It's witchcraft.
Can't see a damn movie.
Yeah. It's just a movie, people. It's just a movie. But you know, what I love about it is like when you go, like when you walk through Harry Potter and you see those kids that spend all that time and they buy a wand that's now specific to them because they spent their time in that wand shop to get the right one, right? And I love when they're going around and they're standing in front of those panes, like the areas inside Harry Potter where they need to go and use their wand. Yeah, but it's like so cute. Like the excitement in the kids where they feel like they're like a genuine wizard and they're like casting these little spells. It's the cutest thing.
Well, I saw this kid when I was there, dude. He had like he was like a wand like this, and I was coming out of the Diagon Alley thing, and he was aiming, and he goes, make my mom fall, make my mom fall. Like, he was trying to hurt his mom, dude. If she would have fell, I'd have been like, this. You
should have just pushed her and been like, oh my god.
I love that kid. I thought right there, that kid's cool as fuck. I want to get to know him. I had that happen to me one time too when we were at Gaylord, the little kid who liked 5-Finger Death Punch. Yep, he was probably a couple years older than your son, Brittany. I want to say he was probably 9 years old. He comes up and he looks at me and he's like, makes his face with his face. And he looks up and he says, do you listen to metal? And I went, yeah. And he goes, I love 5-Finger Death Punch. And he goes, and I like your rings. He says to me, like, just, he was being all hardcore, you know, like, and I'm like, this kid wants to go just bash every child in this line, dude. He wants to mosh him up, right? And he goes, yeah, I like 5-Finger Death Punch. My mom won't let me listen to him. And then she smiled behind him and I go,
like, your mom's lame.
That's your mom behind you? And he looks back and he goes, yeah. And he got upset. And then he walked. He didn't know she had worked her way up the line to hear him telling the story, but man, he was all about like, I want to do it too, man. I want to be a dirtbag when I grow up and look like you. That's what I thought.
I got to go check on the dog. I'll be right back.
But yeah, it was good stuff. And let's see, what did that say? Craig said, any of you ever go to Six Gun Territory? That place had a great live show. Oh, Worcester Shootouts. Where was that at?
Six Gun Territory.
That in Universe. Where was that?
That's not the one on Old 192, was it? Do you remember when they used to have that old Western place you could go to? Remember they had the stuffed horse?
Was that on 192, Craig? I mean, that was your area, dude. That was your stomping ground.
Six Gun Territory. I think that's the one on 192. Craig, was that the one? Because remember on 192, like you'd Cala. No, so it's not the one.
No, but that would be a really cool thing to do.
But what was the one that you remember? What was the one on 192? It was past medieval times. It was Wild Bill's.
Right on.
Oh shoot! Wild Bill's something or other. It was down on 192. Seth, anybody want to chime in?
Seth said he had a picture of him and his girl. Oh, cool, Seth. That's cool, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Dang, now it's gonna bother me. But I always remember when we'd go there, like the Wild Bill stunt show or something. No, that was out in Tucson. Wild Bill something on 192.
I remember.
But they had a stuffed horse.
Capone's.
I remember Capone's.
Yeah, Seth, he did. Craig said it was no Cala. Yeah, Capone's. Remember, it was like a mafia dinner theater.
Yeah, you had to like. Wasn't that
It was good, Jeff.
Didn't they do like Who Murdered Who? Didn't they do that type of show too? Wasn't the Capone's? Didn't they do that too? Like, didn't they do like Who Murdered Who show? The mystery, like dinner mystery.
I don't think I ever went through it because I was always working on another show.
I know they
There's
had
a
a
couple
lot of
good
singers.
places to go. I'd like to. What I'd like to do is get a group together and go down to Medieval Times again sometime. I would like to see how that's all going.
Yeah, medieval time. My God,
Are you
growing up
gonna
there.
call you out in the audience as the best knight that ever was there?
No, they're
For
going to call
sure.
Princess again, dude.
Man, that there's so many good memories. Like
Bro,
it's not here anymore, but Arabian Nights.
You got to understand this, man. Like you've had fun jobs.
Childhood.
I know you've had fun jobs, but listen,
Oh,
I am 21 years old, working at Medieval Times, dude, riding horses for a living and fucking smashing people with lances and playing games, sword fighting, dying, going out and doing. That's it. Wild Bills, Wild West.
Wild Bills.
Show in Orlando.
I knew it was there.
Thank you, Judy, for saving the day. But that was such
I went to that when I was a kid.
Man. We had so much fun there. We got hurt, trampled by horses and shit. People, we actually, I thought my fingers were cut off one night, man. Me and a buddy of mine named Mark Davis it was just, man, what a good time.
I remember.
What a good time.
There was one night we were, Ralph, we were sitting in your living room and I was little, right? So like in my head, I knew my brother was an entertainer in the show, but in my head, like in entertaining, I thought the weapons were all fake. And so I remember one night we were sitting in the living room and Ralph was like, I said something and I was like, man, I think it's really cool they have these sound effects. So like you can hear this cling, clang, cling, and Ralph just looks at me and he goes, kiddo, those are all real. We're using real weapons out there. And I just stopped and I looked at my mom and was like, Troy's gonna die. Like I was like, oh my God. Like what use these weapons?
You fucked up one time. Like if I was fighting Jeff and we were all out there fighting, or me or Brett or me or anybody here, and we were off on the choreograph, dude, somebody's fingers, somebody's nuts got busted, dude. Your head. I mean,
now they give up my fingers.
Yeah, I was doing it. They were killing me one night. Mark was killing me, and he was riding the horseback. I had just got jousted. I got knocked off the horse, whose name was Ahad. One of the best. Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, Seth knows because we talk about all the time. He went to like kill me, right, Jeff? But I'm supposed to I have this leather heavy belt on that keeps all my garb on and everything, like your mesh.
Keep your guts in.
Supposed to hit me in the front. It's got a buckle and this rubber ring, right? That particular belt. And he slugs you with this sword. He draws a real sword and he slugs you with it. And I was off by a second. And I went because you're supposed to hold the sword. He hits you and he closes your hands. I had already put my hands down. And he went across my left hand. I thought he cut it off, son.
Damn.
But it was in a leather glove. And the squire comes up. I go, don't touch my fucking hand. Don't touch my hand. And I'm like, it's not even connected. So when I got in there and I was going to take the glove off, I thought my fingers, because it bled a little, but it felt hot. And it didn't feel like I could move. It cut off into fingers, dude. Because we had jousting gloves. But I thought for sure. But I didn't. I just had some bruised knuckles that they're kind of lumpy now and they're busted up. That's about it. But yeah, it was and then I threw a javelin one time into my buddy's leg.
Oh shit.
He was trying to pretend he was gonna run in front of me, and I already made a commitment. Whew, and it went right into his thigh. And I was like, oh man. And then
I don't want to be mean, but that was
that off.
Those were the years of the Knights. I'm sorry, but I've seen how it's changed over the years. These guys aren't Knights anymore.
Probably all safer now.
Offense.
We don't clack swords. They just.
This was a time when you could still ride the Jungle Cruise, dude. And they'd shoot guns at the animals when they got out of line. They're like, "Don't worry about old Bob."
Yep, that was the best, man. That was one of my first rides I ever went on at Disney.
Remember, they killed everything. So this was a time Disney. Kill animals at Disney, and it was awesome, shooting hippopotamuses off the boat. We killed them, Dad. So then it became more politically correct, and they didn't want you being violent.
Even more so now.
They used to spray paint your ball bag every color of every night. That's what they would do, folks. For those of you that know that story or don't know the story.
So once
you became knighted, once you went from becoming a squire to a knight, I got away for 12 months, dude, maybe 13 before they got me, and they fucking destroyed me, dude. And it was like you knew after every show, man, they wait till you're tired. They're like, and then the head knight, he would give you 3 fights in the show that night, bro. So you know me, I'm like a stick, man, and I'm pounding creatine, trying to stay on top of the game. I even considered doing coke, bro, to try to survive. That's how bad it got. But one day I come around the hallway, dude, by the kitchen. I thought I was getting to the truck. This big Hawaiian dude named Jay, he steps out. He looks at me. He goes, "You're not leaving." I'm like, "Oh, man." I go to run. They caught me in the hallway, dude. took my clothes off, spray painted my dick, my balls, my thighs, my ass crack, all the way up my tailbone, and then threw me into the arena in front of the wait staff, dude. And I had to stand up, jingle balls and shit. And then we had one kid that Brittany caused to kill himself at another dinner show. Or off himself at another dinner show. And
I did not, for the record. I did not. I don't want that out there. That is not true.
Bro, he fucking said, fuck it.
That had nothing to do with me.
Brittany the Black Widow.
He unplugged the Nintendo, bro. He unplugged it. But anyways, he ratted, dude. He got knighted like for the last thing they did, and they sprayed him, and he went to HR, and they're like, "Oh, I was assaulted." So from then on, dude, nobody was allowed to do that anymore. And you know what I mean? Like that, don't ruin the Rat Pack shit, dude. That was the way history was. It had been like that from the 80s, dude.
Yeah.
Who cares? The whole thrill was getting away, dude. And then when it was your turn, bro, you got them cannons, bro.
Dude, that's when entertainment. That's when entertainment used to be fun.
Everywhere I was ready. I sprayed some nut bags in my day too, dude.
Listen, that's when entertainment was fun. Like in entertainment, guys were. You had to understand.
Recorded, it looked like we were being molested. It was bad, dude. Because Jay he put the whole can up in there. Does it burn, boy? Does it burn? And your whole asshole's on fire. And they're like, use mineral spirits. Use mineral spirits, bro. We were
it's like different times. It's just different
times. With spray cans. You can look that up, bro. Anybody that was ever at medieval times or knows it or worked for me understands the christening of the ball bag, dude. Of every color. Yep. Here it is. One of them.
Move it over into light.
You're like a baby.
I was, dude. I was like 21 years old.
He played the crowd with his long hair. Those girls would go flipping.
Brazilian girls would go crazy because anybody that was white that had long hair was like they'd never seen it before. Listen, you could have an asshole for a face. If you had long blonde hair, they'd be all about it, dude.
They have to take Troy backstage and wait for the girls to leave the crowd. Just
Jeremy and Tim.
Yeah, boy, yeah. It is insane. But again, those were the days. Like, I hate to say it,
bro,
but like,
I can tell you, bro,
not everybody would agree, but
they'd be screaming. I saw some great shit. I went over to Arabian Nights. I worked there too. It was fun.
Yep.
I played a few different parts there, and it was a good time. I would do it again, man. That kind of stuff. So I've worked in animal work for forever, dude. And we got a lot of heat back then too, Jeff. Everybody's like, oh, you're making those horses do this and that or whatever, dude. But that's not true, man. Those horses were fun. Like at Arabian Nights, I know it's no longer around, but the owner was actually pretty cool. And so the horses were work 1 week on and 1 week off. That's how we worked those horses. So we had a couple different, horses there. We had some really nice Andalusians. We had some just regular quarters. So he owned like 50 acres right off Interstate 4. If you remember driving by it was like the two horse heads on the interstate over 192. And so we would have to take the horse. We go in early the following week, take the horses out to pasture, turn them loose. Right. So we turn them loose to pasture. So they'd run the acreage, do whatever they had to do. And then we'd work, the other horses would work. And then we didn't get to work 1 week on and off. We worked straight through. But the horses got to pasture once a week. And if they became lame or too old, he turned them loose. He turned them loose to the pasture and he just let them live their life. So he just actually entertained people's heart. I never saw anybody abuse horses at either of those places. And I'd be the first to tell you if I think something.
Of course, people just have to find something to bitch about, man. Everybody needs a demon, an enemy. We make them up if we don't have them. That's part of the way the world runs.
There's a training technique that's used, commonly in a lot of practices, especially if you're trying to get stuff done in people don't understand it and it sounds brutal, but you remember those old Red Ryder BB guns you could pump them 10 times. So you have to understand the hide of a horse and a horse that would be unmanageable at times, like a stallion. So sometimes when a stallion would be in a show or whatever, they would have those little pump BB guns. They would stay way back behind the curtains. And the guy with the whip, how they do in Spanish, they'd spin and go, pow, that the capriole and all that. That was from the way they trained from Spain. There would be a guy sitting in the back and he'd shoot the horse in the butt cheek. And you'd see the horse feel it every time he heard the snap. And after about the first 7 days, they just had to make the noise anymore. And then the horse continued to do what its routine the right way. And then before you know it, the guy didn't have to be out there. You'd give the horse some grain and he'd just go do the whole show by himself. I can't tell you how many times a horse would buck a new night off in the tunnel and do the whole fucking show by himself. He would just run along, dude. He would just run along and we'd all line up. And then there would be like a squire in the night. And the night would back up and the squire wouldn't be there. The horse would be standing next to him. And then as they called him out, the knight would walk away and the horse would leave. He'd do the whole show by himself, man.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah, right? It was funny stuff. So there's a lot of techniques that people just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like people don't like choke chains on dogs. Well, tough shit. Sometimes you got to choke
What's
chain.
going on? You know, worry about your own self.
Exactly.
I posted. Did you see that picture I posted with all the hognose playing dead at once when I went to go pull that clutch out?
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah, I did.
And somebody posted it in another forum, and one of the admins just like, "Oh, remember that stresses hognose out, and you know their heart rate slows down, and their breathing slows down, which is exactly the opposite of what your body does in fight or flight. It's your sympathetic response. So your heart races, your breaths get faster." But I mean, it's an instinct. Snakes don't get stressed out. They smell some fear, they flip over, and that's that. You know what I mean? The people anthropomorphizing animals is really just.
I always talk about that being anthropomorphic. I always talk about that. I agree 100%.
It's
so,
you know, and I was very polite, but I said, look, this is what really happens when because snakes, their central nervous system mimics ours in a lot of ways, the brain and the spine, and then their peripheral nerves, their sympathetic and their parasympathetic system. One runs on adrenaline, which is your sympathetic, and the other was acetylcholine, which slows you down.
Sure.
You know.
So they do a little acetylcholine and they roll over and play dead. It's a natural response. It takes thousands of years to develop. I'm sure it's okay. I think it's natural. Like, you know, a bomb goes off. If we were always taught to lay down, we would just lay down, dude. You know what I'm saying? We would be like, oh, no, we just go bam. Oh, let's lay down for a second.
Yeah, I didn't even touch those animals. I just opened the top and they all flipped over and played dead. It was funny as shit. Suicide.
You know, animals know a lot of things, man. I've watched animals. I mean, I've seen animals do things to people, man. Full-size animals. And some of the most dangerous animals are horses, dude. And,
I believe it.
We had this guy
the other day.
He was kind of like I told a story before, and it's probably 100 episodes ago, but he worked at Medieval Times, and he came in as a squire, and he thought he was cool shit. He was kind of chubby, get winded easy, you know, but he had he had a beard, but he looked like a 14-year-old with a beard. You know what I mean? Those guys that are older, but they look like
baby face.
You know, the testosterone hasn't hit, but you have ass hair on your face kind of shit. And we would tell him, stop fucking with the horses like that before you go, man. They don't like you tapping them on the face. Don't walk through here when we're in procession and we're getting ready to go out the curtain. We would tell him all the time. And Tim's like, listen, he would be like cussing at him and stuff. So we were doing the show. And this was like in 1996. And we were introducing a new horse, a new Andalusian, and he was 3 years old. And he was told, don't go behind the horse. Well, that motherfucker, dude, takes the cheap way out. That horse killed that bitch. Killed him, bro. It hit him so hard, bro. It looked like a car hit him and slammed him off the wall. I was across. It was me and I believe Jeremy. We were sitting together, you know, at the time, because at that time I was squiring for Jeremy because we'd rotate. When we had back-to-back shows, one would night, one would squire, one because the squires couldn't keep up with what we're doing and they didn't know the show. So we seen him and I'm like, oh, fuck it. Boom, right? And they turn all the lights off on the arena. They can do that in there. So the only half that was lit, the black and white, the guy comes out and goes, my lord, someone has acted abruptly with the horses. We shall be removing that. Whatever. He played off that squire will be removed, you know, like that. And then they turn the lights on. That's what happens, everyone. You get knocked out. But he died. He straight up died. Like I remember him in the back when the paramedics were coming. He was like this. And his arms were all bent out and his eyes were crooked. I mean, that horse, and he died. He died a little bit later. But dude, nobody gave a fuck. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
There wasn't one guy back there like, poor soul. They were like, you know, fuck that guy. I'm not going to use his name because there could be somebody on here who has the same name. And it's terrible. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. It was so loud too, dude. It was like somebody cracked a bag of wet potatoes with a ball bat, dude.
I mean, in all fairness, do you really have to be told not to walk behind a horse? I mean,
I think the horses didn't like him. He had that energy about himself that, you know, the horse, you know, he contemplated in his mind. He's like, you know, next time that guy comes out, I'm killing him. And the other horse is like, okay, you're a horse. You can get away with it. It's okay.
I know, right?
But you can't stop him. You can only kick backwards. You have to play scared. So, you know, he contemplated that and he killed him. Legit.
Yeah. I had a girl in.
He didn't die there. They told us that he passed away in the hospital, but that's what they said. I don't
I
know
had
if
a
that's
pediatric trauma like that the other day. A girl came in, a horse kicked her right in the liver, and you could see the hoof print. And
yes, sir.
we brought her in for a CT scan, and her liver was all lacerated from the horse kicking her, and I'm like, she was a little brat too. Yeah, that thing fucked her up a little bit more than it looked like. It just.
I love it, Jeff. Though, bro, we got to get some horses. We get some land, bro. I love horses now.
Yeah, I like horses.
I'll work a horse. I will work a horse.
Bro.
I'll tell you, I've been bucked off and kicked at the same time, and I don't know how I landed on my feet, but I did. I got bucked, and he buckshot kicked me, bro, in the back, and I remember he hit me in the ass, flipped me over, and I landed on my feet and one knee, and I stood up, and they're like, "You okay?" And I go, "Yeah, I guess." I wasn't hurt. I was like, "Oh my God." But we had some young horses we had to break, but now I'm old, man. If I tried that now, it would snap in half. You'd have to come. I'd be rolling out. Hey, wait up, guys. We can get front row now. Front row. Front row. Yeah, that's always a good time.
I like how horses pick you. You should always let a horse pick you. Always. I remember.
What about ostriches? You rode them. Can you tell us about that? And then we'll get back to your horse story.
They're
like I saw you ride an ostrich like at 100 miles an hour. I thought that was awesome.
I enjoyed when I was trained to ride ostriches. I enjoyed it. Like it was something I looked forward to doing every single night.
Ostrich, dude.
I enjoy eating ostrich.
That was something I enjoyed every night because they're fast. They hate that you're on them, and you literally like people have this. I think they assume like how to ride like before you get on one, and it's not like what you think at all.
I imagine it's extremely bouncy on two legs.
The ever saw riding was Bill Cosby.
Riding an ostrich.
Yeah. Do you remember Bill Cosby riding that ostrich?
They're mean.
Yeah,
like they know what to do. Like they would put us into a chute, and I was always the second rider out. I was never the first bird. I was always the second bird out. And the second birds are so pissed off by the time their gate, it's time for them to go. And you jump in the chute, you've got a guy holding the bird by its hindquarters, and like they have a design saddle, and like this bird is jumping, and these things are like 6-7 feet tall. You're like, okay, it's just gonna be fun. And you just jump on and you tuck your legs up underneath the wings, and you have a grip on the saddle. It just looks like a giant pillow pad. Like there's nothing to it. Like it's just a pillow. And it straps under. And then you just grab the front, and how you guide the bird, they go away from anything by their face. They don't like things in their eyes and their face. So you would steer the bird by like, I want to go left. So I'm going to put my hand on its right eye and just be like, go, 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 go. So it goes away. But these birds, man, they didn't want you on. They will spin in circles like super fast like this until they get you off. And like they're making you so dizzy.
It's kind of mean that they did that. I mean, I know you had to do it for your job. That was your job, but I don't think riding ostriches were kind of. But just so everybody, before they get upset, like, these ostriches will rip your tits off and kill you.
Yeah,
oh,
nice animal.
Make a mistake, and yes, they're forced or whatever, but they're strong.
We had girls.
They never put heavy. You didn't see no fatties riding that though, did you, Brittany?
No, we had to be on. We had to be.
Sorry, you can't get on there. You're a little big. They would say
no. We did. Yeah, we did. We had to be under a certain weight. We had to keep that weight literally to ride these birds.
Man, I'd have to ride 2 ostriches at the same time to support my weight. I think one leg over each.
Seriously, though, Jeff. Like true story. Like we had to make sure. Like we had. Everybody's like, right to work and discrimination, but we had an image uphold. You put a fat person on a horse and you put him out in an arena, the complaints, because the horse is like trying to run, his back's all arched up like he's twerking when he's walking, and people are like, oh, I mean, it's funny when I think back about it, but they would say, look, you're a particular size and you can't, first of all, it's not cool for the animal. So we had to maintain weight. So anybody that was over 200 pounds in the show, like you just, I didn't clear 200 pounds when I was in my 20s. I was always like $180 or something. I was never. And sometimes thinner than that. Mom thought I had AIDS. She's like, I think you have AIDS. You're gonna have AIDS? I'm trying to work and I run in the sand every night and I fight with a sword. I do more cardio than you can imagine. I just have to eat all the time. But
at max.
So when so if you're really heavy stuff, is that you?
Yeah.
Look at that bird, dude.
Where was this, Brittany?
Dixie Stampede.
Dixie Stampede. I worked there for about 5 years.
Yeah, you're just a showbiz fam.
Dude, listen, Man, I wish. Let's get into some.
Worked
like,
all the theme parks. Worked all the theme parks.
I think we ought to have
We
like
did.
a drug dealer dinner show, man, where me and everybody get together and shoot at each other, and Jeff can be the leader of the cartel on the California side, and just make like a cool. You know what I mean?
Tanner, man.
It would be awesome. Nah, dude, nah, bro. The white boys run it. We could say it's over avocados, green gold.
The avocado cartel.
Those were fun times. They're just, it's,
You know, I
they're
watched.
gone now.
You know, even on subject that I was watching Joe Rogan and I talk about the things that Mike Tyson said in his career over his career. Like, I love watching him freak out on people in an interview and say, "What are you going to do about it?" I love that guy. I don't care what anybody says. I've always liked that Mike Tyson. What I like about Mike Tyson was he was very transparent to who he was. He didn't give a fuck. Somebody hurt his bird, he beat the shit out of him and became one of the best fighters in the world. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, he was a
Holyfield. I'll still argue that they say, yep, he bit his ear. I think they want him to throw the fight. He'd rather get disqualified than throw the fight. He'd rather be a bastard dude than like that. But there's a couple things I'll send you, Jeff, where he looked at that guy. Remember, he called that guy the F word. You know, not fuck, but the other F word that you use inappropriately towards homosexuals. Mm-hmm. And he told the guy, he said, "I'll fuck you till you love me." F word. Come up and say that to my face. Yeah. And I saw Joe Rogan say, "Bro, he went deep when he thought about that." He said that. He said that on national TV, dude. Thousands of people. He said he's pointing at him. Come up here. He goes, "I'll fuck you until you love me." That's what he said. And I'm thinking, man, all this shit. So I'm like, I got into the wormhole on Tyson, and that one guy trick bagged him. You know, when he was running for doing some mayor work, he was trying to help clean up his city. And he goes, "Oh, you know, since you've been convicted of rape, you know, how do you feel? How do you think they?" He goes, "I ain't never heard anybody say that but you." He goes, "You know, you're a real piece of shit." And I got to thinking, if Tyson wanted to get up, have you ever seen him jump off and beat the hell out of somebody for no reason right off of the stage? I have.
No, Vander Holyfield.
Yeah, and a couple cameramen he's knocked out and smashed. I mean, he's been. I wouldn't even. Why would you want to push that man's envelope? You already know he's not. He thinks about fighting like we do going through a drive-through. Yeah, I'll take a spicy chicken. He just beats a shit out of someone and it's okay. He wipes off his knuckles and he has an ice cream. Why would you push someone like that? That you know.
I wonder how many people tried him in prison.
Dude, I bet nobody messed with that dude.
You know, there's always people in there that want to try it. Oh, Mike Tyson, I gotta fucking take a swing at Mike Tyson. They probably got
because I think you know why I watched the episode on that when they said, you know, how was it in prison? He goes, "It's not like I thought it was going to be. It's not like I was told." And they kept trying to get him to elaborate. He just wouldn't elaborate. And as he got older, he was talking about again. He said that, you know, they just respect me, man. Prisoners and boxing is a big thing, you know, like they like boxing. And Mike Tyson was like a thug. He was a thug. He was like the head of the thugs. And who's going to do him? Nobody.
Honestly, in jail.
I mean, he was a fighter, dude.
I think in jail it would have been like one little guy who was full of ego, and the rest of the guys were like, "Shit, we can make money off this guy. Let him go for it. We'll make a betting ring on how long he lasts. You know, let's make this fun and interesting. And let one little guy just get his, you know, his butt served."
Sure, everyone has a plan so they can punch in the mouth. Mike Tyson. Yeah, bro, that's what he said. Fucking, I love this guy. What I love about Mike Tyson is, man, is that he made mistakes, and he openly said, "I made a lot of mistakes in my life. You know, I did terrible things. You know, I didn't have this or that." But he said, I'm a good person. I try to love back. You know, I want to be, you know, the greatest. And I never really wanted to hurt anybody that didn't deserve it or like innocent people. That wasn't his thing. It wasn't like, I mean, because if he was like that, he would have been really lethal. You know, and they're like, "Oh, he's a coward. He beat up his ex-wife." Look,
and in all fairness,
say whatever you want about a coward. He's going to beat you too. He beat anything. A wet pillow if he had to. He didn't care. It wasn't about being a coward. It's just he just fought. That's all he did. I mean, really, that's all he did.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was one of my favorite fighting games ever.
Yes. Yep. And you know, Brittany, he would say, he's still to this day, he says, "I fight my ego." You guys want to watch a good interview with him? It's Kevin Hart. It's the Heart to Heart series. It's Kevin Hart and Mike Tyson. Series. And Mike Tyson talks to him directly, man. He goes, "My ego sometimes tells me things that's not true. It makes me do things I shouldn't do." And he said, it tells me that.
I believe they call that schizophrenia.
I think about that all the time. And that's crazy, dude. His other ego is an entity he believes in. That's a powerful person, dude.
Oh yeah, man. He's a scary dude, man. He really is. As far as boxers go, he'd probably be one of the one that I'd least likely want to take a punch from. Because I bet that man hits like a
yeah.
fucking.
Honestly, do when people say like, I've met a lot of really awesome, famous people, man. Like met him in person. I'd love to sit in a room with Mike Tyson and talk to him, man. Just honestly talk to him, dude. Because I just think he would have a lot to say because he didn't do what everybody else did. He did what the fuck he wanted to do, and he made it to the top. And he has a family, and he has grandkids. And he's a cool dude, man. He tattooed his face. Fuck him. What are they gonna do?
That's a terrible face tattoo, though.
Well,
I wouldn't tell that to his face, but
he goes.
He's known for it, though.
So what? What the fuck are you gonna do about it? He goes, we're doing a live show. You can talk like that. Fuck you. What are you gonna do about it? It was awesome. Nobody. And then you know what? They didn't cancel him. He never got canceled. Like, oh, we're gonna stop Tyson because people would have went insane if you would have stopped the Tyson fights back then. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
It'd be like canceling Air Jordans.
Yeah. How about all the people that paid all that big money and fucking saw a fight that lasted a minute and a half?
But that's what they went for.
Good.
Oh yeah, no, he was a fucking straight knockout artist. You know, he could box a little bit, but man, that guy connected. It was all over.
Bro, the power and the way he could take hits, for son. Nobody, it'd be hard. There's not a lot there at his prime now, dude.
Oh yeah, he's got a serious jaw.
If you look at him when he's younger and you look at him and you just see him, you could see the solidness of that dude's mind and body, dude. He was in line. All he did was, that's what he said. I was in line with fighting. My brain, my body, my soul. Fight. Yep. That's all he did. And he aligned it, dude. And that's all he focused on. And that's why he's the best of the best at what he did. And he tells me, I'm not awesome. I don't consider myself great or anything. He's like, I'm not Muhammad Ali, but he's like, I just did what I had to do. That was my job. I love listening to him talk. Now he's got a podcast. I love listening to him.
Right on. Was it him that knocked out Blood Green? Like out and about? Like
I think so.
Like that. I think so.
Look that up. I think you're right.
I think it's important that people remember like how awesome it is when somebody like owns up to their own mistakes in life, or they like humble themselves and they're like, look, this is who I am, and they're real about it. Like I like the Heart to Heart series because Kevin brings on a lot of people like Tyson, like different individuals, and they get to have their moment to talk about these things, But I think it's interesting when you see someone like Tyson, because I think a lot of the general public have an assumption or an idea of the kind of person Tyson is, but they've never actually taken the time to get to know him or like at least listen to him talk. So I think it's fascinating when someone like him can humble himself and be like, look, I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not a good person, but I'm trying to be better. And I think those kind of people need to be highlighted more.
I think so too. I like the fact that he was completely heterosexual, and he was told that guy he'd sodomize him until he loved him. If you don't understand what kind of
prison rules, man, he's
fucking tree that is, dude. Bro, that's just. I mean, that's the worst dominant. That's the most dominating thing you could do to another male, dude. Seriously, they do it in wild, Brittany. I was telling your mom about that the other day. Hippos do it to each other. They beat the old hippo up, and then they sodomize him and take his colony over, dude. What the fuck is that?
Damn, I'm reading this thing about blood.
Sounds like prison in the jungle, dude. I wouldn't want to be a crocodile around them. I already see what they do to them crocodiles. Dang, sodomizing each other. Can we say that word on here? Sodomize.
Yeah, sure.
I would think so. It's a scientific term.
There is a cartoon for Mike Tyson. It was a good one. He had that pigeon in it and shit. That was awesome. And yep, he was fearless and honest. He was, Brett, for sure.
Yep,
me too, Seth. I agree. When Tyson flips the switch, it ain't about winning and losing. It's all about destruction. That's my favorite fighter ever. Yep. He was serious about his business, dude. And so, well, good for him.
Like you sit there and you go, who would be current? Because I don't follow the fighting ring as much, but like who would be a current person? There really isn't anybody like Mike Tyson nowadays that's in the ring fighting, right? Like we don't really have anybody that's like that. Not like the old school fighters. We just don't have guys like that.
Tyson was a puncher.
What's that?
Tyson was a puncher. You have a lot more scientific boxers now than you do like those brutal punchers like Tyson and Foreman and
Foreman,
Frazier, Smoking Joe Frazier, again.
Butterbean. Don't forget about Butterbean, dude. He wouldn't straighten up.
Butterbean, dude. I love the shit that he did on Jackass when they went into a store and fucking just
he hit him. So my God. And Johnny Knoxville took a hit in the gut. Forget it.
That guy was supposed to be the hardest puncher in history, Butterbean.
Yeah, but you got to have a guy his size next to him. You didn't put no Johnny Knoxville in there, dude.
Oh hell no, no, he knocked Johnny Knoxville out, dude. He was a beast. But they don't. I loved watching boxing back then. You know, when I was a kid.
It was two guys
Different
beating each
times.
other up.
Yeah, Larry Holmes.
For sure.
That's
Larry
why,
Holmes,
like,
Frazier,
when-
fucking Sugar Ray Leonard. He was a freaking boxer. You know, he
When,
hit hard, man.
Ray.
He could move.
It's funny because, like, over the years, we don't have a lot of, like, I don't know. I just feel like everything's gotten really sappy and not like it used to be. And I remember when I would go to hockey games, I loved when they would fight because I'm like, they just don't care. They're gonna lose teeth right here on the ice. Like they don't give a shit.
Back
And I
before
love it. And then they'd
Elvis
go to the
did
penalty
that.
box. Right. And I never really shared that with John. Like I never shared how much I loved hockey for that reason, for the fighting. And so I remember our first game, we went to the Solar Bears in Orlando. And I remember like it
Said you,
just
Craig.
Michael.
just flared up in me. I got all excited when they ripped their mask off. There was these two guys who just got really pissed at each other. And I was like, fight. And John just like looked at me and he was like, what is wrong with you? I didn't know this side of you. I'm like, that's why I love hockey. They fight like men and then
Yeah.
they lose a couple teeth and they go in the penalty box. Like I had a friend who was a actual he was a hockey player. And we would joke about this all the time. He's like, yeah. And then the restrictions kind of got a little lax or whatever with Solar Bears. But like, John just cracks up about it. He's like, I didn't know that was the thing that you were into. I could just take you like to a ring fight. And I was like, no, it's not the same. Like, I enjoy a good hockey game, but then they fight like men. I like it.
I have my favorite Goons number tattooed on my leg with a broken tooth with a halo on it from when he died. Bob Probert from the Red Wings.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
With the best of them, man. Probert was a beast. And the day he died, I got it's like a little Red Wings thing in the background and a tooth with a halo and Bob Probert's number.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking that guy. I used to buy VHS tapes of hockey fights, like in the back of like Backpage and shit. I'd send away for him before the internet, and like it was Probert, Koser, Basil McRae. I mean, these guys are all beasts, man. Marty McSorley, I love that shit.
I used to get mad when they would like break up the fight. And I'd be like, they're just starting to get good. Are you kidding me? Why would you break that up?
They wait for their chance. Yeah, usually you know, as soon as they squared up, the referees would back off, let them fight until they were clenched up real good, and then they'd split them up because the referees do want to get hit.
I think they should just let them fight, do what they want. They're adults.
Yeah, I mean, in the NHL, they still fight, but when I was a kid, I used to go to a lot of AHL games, and because there was a team in New Haven, the Nighthawks, and these guys were just brutal. And then they outlawed fighting in the AHL, and it made it way less fun.
Well, why would they?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Right? I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Well, why would they stop it? You know, I mean,
it's part.
I don't know. I think it's.
People don't watch NASCAR for the races, dude. They watch.
I don't know. You watch NASCAR to go see somebody go head into a wall at fucking 140 miles an hour or 240 miles an hour.
Oh God, dude, can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
And then most of the time you're drunk, so you're like it's 10 times worse in your head than what it really is.
Dude, NASCAR is a trip, man.
I can't watch NASCAR. It's going round and round.
It's worth going. I want to go around and interview people there, and we're gonna have to interview people only if people have their shirts off. We'll be doing a lot of interviews.
Right.
I remember way back in the day, I worked when I was working entertainment gigs for a company, and we'd just get hired out for whatever we needed to do. Like we would just be like the girls that would get hired out for certain events. And myself and a girlfriend of mine got hired out to work at the Daytona 500 up in Daytona. And we had, well, you know what I mean? Listen, man, I'm on NyQuil. Bear with me. And anyway, and I just remember everybody there. It was like, it was such an interesting, it was such an interesting event to be like, because they had us in like NASCAR jumpsuit type things. We were handing out different types of advertisement gear. Red Bull was there. And I just remember like meeting these individuals and stuff like that. And it took me right back to Jeff Dunham. Took me right back to Jeff Dunham's skit with his little character with like the little puppet he made about like, they're going to make a left turn again and they're making another left turn, you know? And it just all took me back to all these like comedy sketches because I'd never really been to a race car. Like I'd never really been to one. So it was very interesting and loud, very loud.
Speaking of NASCAR, I was watching that Encounters thing.
Yes, what day is it, Mom? That's what Brittany's writing on the bottom of her name for those you're asking a question. Go ahead, Jeff. I just wanted to clarify.
Oh, I was wondering why it is that visitors always seem to target how do I put this, rural Americans. You know, all the interviews I see is
I don't know.
over the mountain. I was out hunting hogs and they
yeah, that's right. Because I think
they gave me an anal probe.
You know, honestly, when it comes to that type of stuff, like they use these people, and I feel bad, right? Because that is like the worst
I don't
ever. Like when they use these people to come forward for like the community, like because they immediately go, see, this didn't happen because them, and it's not fair to those country folk because most of the time they are smart country folk, and yet they're being put down as though they aren't, and that's a whole agenda scheme. Like they just put them out there to smear it, to make it look like, see, these are the only kind of people that believe in this stuff. It's a whole agenda thing, and it's just ridiculous to me. It's horrible because then it puts a bad taste in your mouth, and then you're like making fun of these poor people that living in the country, and it's like you understand that they chose to live in the country to get away from people like you, like, and then it's not their fault that they're being attacked by UFOs. They can't help it that
I guess they do live off the beaten path, so that could be an explanation for it for sure. You know,
yeah.
But it definitely
I don't know what I have, Dan.
Disproportionate cross section of society as far as who the visitors visit. Maybe they just like country cooking.
No, but it's not that. But like, think about it though, right? So like, when you're living out in the country, and they're like, "Oh, I saw Bigfoot." Well, yeah, you probably did, because in your area, it's quiet.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of wildlife. You're going to see a lot of livestock, and people come around there scavenging, looking for food. I am not shocked when I hear like a family out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee freaking saw. What? Thanks, Seth. You know, to me, I'm like, you know what? There's nothing more like that makes sense to me when somebody from the country would see a Bigfoot. It makes sense to me. It's not populated. It's not crowd. It's not loud. They don't need to hide.
Yeah.
And then with UFO stuff.
I got a question, but I want to set up Brittany again too, because I know I screw around here a lot because it's mainly for humor and having a good time. But Brittany is a ufologist, so she does have a lot of that inside information, all that stuff that we don't get. It doesn't matter if people believe it or not. Like, some people believe in God, some people don't, and they're still evangelists making millions of dollars. So there's something to ufology. So whatever it is the case. But the question I have for you, Brittany, is I did see, and I talked about it with Jeff too earlier before you popped in. They said by the year 2027, the aliens will be here in full swing. The skies will be full. So they're gonna get us slowly led into it now, so that by 2027 they're just gonna be here doing their thing, and we're just gonna be okay with it.
Okay, so this isn't new.
But I just want to hear.
This isn't new. Yeah, this isn't new. This has been something that's been around for a very long time. This started when there was the alleged treaty with Eisenhower, and it was basically stated that you have until the year 2027 to be honest with the general public that we live among them, that we coexist on this planet. We are not here to harm anybody. We are doing our thing, and you're doing yours, and we will not, cross paths to affect either one. We'll protect you from killing yourselves. That's why we stop a lot of the nuclear. But that's the alleged rumor, is that by 2027, the particular race that has infiltrated and been working alongside the government for several years believe that the public does have the right to know that they aren't these horrible beings, and that they will show themselves, and it will be just a normal common day. And so they need to start preparing the public, because you can't just, come out with I talked about this last night. You can't come out with a reptilian and not explain how he got here, what it is, or what they are, if reptilians are real. So you kind of have to prepare the public, or you will have mass hysteria. And they knew this. So that's why they said you have until this year. I don't know why it's such a random year. I don't know why it's like by 2027.
Maybe they can see the future.
It's just bizarre. But that was the date. That is the year 2027. If you do not prepare the public, we are just going to come out. And everybody's going to have to just deal with it.
I think that they waited too long, the way we treat immigrants in this country.
Well, apparently, though, Now, apparently, this was supposed to happen in the 90s. Okay, this was actually supposed to happen in the 90s when this first happened. But the way that, from what I've heard, is that the way that our government was being ran and the way they were doing things, they didn't feel it was the right time. So every time something happened, they kept saying it's not the right time. Obviously, the public's not ready, and you're not preparing them enough. You're not preparing them enough. And so now it's been pushed out to 2027. But originally, this was supposed to happen in the 90s.
What I don't understand is why they have to prepare. What was so
so people
Because
don't
think
freak
about
out.
it.
Because I mean, if they had just let it go from the beginning of time before Nixon and all and Eisenhower or whatever, and
Shit.
all that stuff,
Roswell. Just let it happen in Roswell.
Way before that, I'm talking about back in the Wild West or during when the Native Americans were here and they were just another race of people. We would know no different now. I mean, America was just based back then. That's when it really kind of, started really being anything special.
Would I still be able to keep reptiles?
I mean, let's be real.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, that's the thing is like, that's the problem is that people want to poo-poo ancient astronaut theory, but basically that's what it is. It's just reading through our past history that was written and foretold on the walls. They wrote and saw what they saw, and they prepared us. And the thing is
as far as a species here, how do we know we're not all just different species? Like, look at people from across the world, right? The way we all look. We're human race, but we're all different locales. Come on.
Yeah, but it has to do with climate and genetics.
Right.
And
but we're all different, right? So why couldn't there be another species of human here from another, that has been doing so? I mean, that could have more reptilian-based bloodline. That could be a totally real thing. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Somehow, this crap where we got to release things is because they used to tie religion into government.
Yep.
And it would cause mass fallout. That's it. There's nobody can bullshit around it. It was because religion was tied into government.
Well, but here's the problem.
Like, people will freak out. They just believe that they got to be a good man, and they get.
But this was their mistake. This was their mistake because here's the problem: people don't do enough research. This was their largest mistake. The Vatican themselves. I said they should do research.
No,
the Vatican Oh yeah, no, yeah. I wish they did. But the Vatican themselves have known about UFOs. They've known about extraterrestrial. They have written documentations within their own archives. They are no stranger to this phenomenon. And it is nothing against the church. And they've talked about this openly. Our own Pope has talked about it openly. It's not that he's, as they like to say, woke. No, he's going by past stuff that he has been briefed on as the Pope. This is not anything to do with God or church. That was the biggest.
The president does.
But that was the biggest mistake that the government, and I can't say the whole government, but the division that handles this particular topic within their Black Project, this was their mistake. When you cover it up and you hold it under a religion, you will cause mass hysteria. If they hadn't based it underneath a religious context to uphold a certain image in our generations that are being taught, you wouldn't have this problem. People wouldn't immediately think there's no God the moment they see an alien. If it had just been taught as natural science or natural history, that there's other beings on other life forms on other planets, and some live in our oceans, some lives in the mesa, blah, 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 end of day.
God, they made all those. You could have told them that story.
But that's what I'm saying.
Everything's a fable.
People would have just been like open-minded to be like, oh, cool, okay. So those that are creationists would go, well, God created us and created them too. People that aren't would just be like, whatever, there's other species, there's other races of beings just like me. No big deal. But they did. They unfortunately blinded so much of society that when something like this comes out, you're going to have mass hysteria because they're not mentally right for it. Imagine walking your street one day and there's a giant, like 7 foot tall, cylinder looking, grayish, whitish figure with these ginormous eyes. And he's like, hey, what's up? But he says it in your head. You'd freak out if you're not used to that. You're not used to it.
Second. That's because no matter what religion anybody's in, humans think they're the elite.
Of course. Again, mistake number 2.
Everybody thinks they're subverted.
A lot of them swimming in orca territory, but they think they're an elite. So when something bigger comes along, it's an intimidating thing. That might be another thing that could be fallout too. And that movie, No One Will Help You or whatever, Brittany. Good night.
No one will save you. Yeah.
Good night, Jeff.
Yeah.
That was something else, dude. No one will save you is right.
That took me on a roller coaster.
There, dude, and they start making that sound, looking up at the sky and moving their arms up and contortioning. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'd already ate 10 bullets. I'm not sitting around for that.
No.
I saw what they did. Fuck.
The government ain't going to help. I'll tell you that, dude. They're going to be in their nice underground bunkers and leave us to ourselves.
I just find it really funny. That's not the only other alien movie that's coming out. I find it interesting that all of a sudden there's all these alien movies. I have believed this, and I don't care what conspiracy hole you think I crawled out of, but I have believed this because I worked in the film and television, and I saw it, and it's interesting to me that people don't believe that our own media. We know our news media is controlled and outletted what they want to put out into the media so that we can get the information we want out. It's the same thing in film and television. So I encourage people to realize and do the research tonight. Look it up. Look at how many new alien movies are coming out. And guess what? There's good and bad. We have good ones and we have bad ones. Why? Because they're integrating this into our mind where we become numb to it. That's what they did with sex in movies. That's what they've done with violence in movies. They integrate it to the point where we're numb to it, where we're used to it. We don't think about it. So that when these things start to happen and it starts to come out and as an agenda, this is what they're going to do. It's infiltrated. It's planted like a seed in your mind. And before long, you're numb to it. And that movie, No One Will Save You. The director is a huge UFO buff. And if anybody
down, dude, you wouldn't want nothing to do with that. Why would
no.
you want? If I was a UFO buff, it would be cool like Jeff and you and Brett, and we all hang out and do alien weed. Not what they were doing.
I'm down with that, man. I'm down with smoking
no,
rays.
But if you haven't seen a spoiler alert, real fast, the one thing I loved about it was the fact that he kept the aliens classic. He kept them classic grays. That is exactly what all of our abduction reports are. And I was so excited to see that.
If you don't think he was stabbing at religion, dude.
Oh, I was just thinking about that.
Every one of them got to go to heaven, dude.
It was weird. It was a very weird movie.
Okay.
I think religion should stay out of all of it. Government, alien shit, my life.
Government should do that too. Should be the
right.
people.
It scares me that they're trying to, that they're trying to push a religious agenda. You know what I mean?
I don't really see religion in America anymore, to be quite honest with you.
No,
to be quite honest with you, I don't. I see it being very pushed to the backside.
You know, religion's it's a joke in America for the most part, because all these people who claim to be super Christians and they want to run the government, next thing you know, they're getting caught with hookers and whatever. You know, I was listening to a podcast today about what the fuck's that Jim Caviezel movie? God damn it. The kidnapping.
Oh, the one that just came out of freedom, voice something of freedom, voice of freedom.
Sound of Freedom, right? Sound and they were talking about how many people involved with that movie have had, sexual misconduct charges and other stuff like that, and it's crazy, and they claim to be these champions of the right, not the right like the political right, but what is right and wrong, It scares me. No religion and aliens.
That's
or
right.
government.
Be left out.
What's that?
I said they have to be. You're right. Aliens need to be left out of that crap. It's totally
right, man. What if the aliens were all Jews? They'd freak the fuck out.
They probably were. The whole
probably
Bible
are.
All Jews, and everybody trying to kill them all the time. The Jews couldn't even go out and get some corn out. Someone trying to kill them.
Yeah, dude.
They bring an alien in. And they called him Moses. Fucking glowing and floating down the river, and they find him in a basket, and he's the only one that can go sit in front of the ark, and he's the only one that can talk to God,
and his face won't melt.
And he decides, hey, fuck those guys, get in line, let me do this. He opens up the ocean, lets the good guys through, and slams everybody else.
Oh, dude.
So we got aliens in the Bible.
I always loved that shit when I was a kid.
Jeff, Jews and aliens, dude. That's the whole Bible. It is. Think about it. Jesus was an alien too, man. He was putting lights back in and making it rain bread and fish and all kinds of shit. Walking on the water.
Listen, I got in trouble with somebody, and I'm a Christian, first of all, but I got in trouble with somebody when I was just saying, theoretically, really, when you look at the story of Jesus, Jesus is an alien because he was not of this earth. His father was not of this earth. So he was half extraterrestrial, because if you're not from this planet, We are terrestrial beings. If you're not from this planet, you're considered an extraterrestrial. Like, it doesn't mean that you're this
but what if
gray
you come
alien.
from
You're
a
just an
different dimension on this
extraterrestrial.
planet? What if
Huh?
you come from a different dimension on this planet?
Then
Well,
then you're
there are different dimensions.
a time jumper or I don't know, dude.
Ooh, I got something for you guys. I know that we're getting over the hour, but I got something for you that
I
I
have a
want you to
question for Jeff,
ponder.
just I want some validity on it. Go ahead.
Okay, just ponder on this. So I thought about this the other night when I was dreaming, because I have these random. I asked John about this. John's like, I never have dreams like that. That's so weird. You're weird. Whatever. But I have these dreams often where like I'm in a place. Everybody in there knows me. I don't know them, but they know me. They know me like very well, and I'm living this life that's not my own. And so it hit me the other night. I finally was like, John, you just got to listen to me. Just hear me out. Like, I know this is really far out for you, but you got to hear me out. And I thought to myself, like science is proving that we are living in multiple different dimensions along each other. And they're trying to figure out exactly what the fifth dimension is, even though they know it exists. But what is it exactly? Right?
Yes.
Oh, so anyway, so you're living with all these different dimensions, right? Living alongside you, which are possible other lives, other whatever the case is. And so I thought to myself, my God, in your conscious state when you're asleep, what if you're in such an open-minded conscious state that you're drifting into your other dimensional person living in another life, going on a different path. So when you wake up, yeah, but astral projection, you're still here. You're not necessarily going into a different life at a different time frame. You're still here. You're visiting.
You're still here, right? When you dream.
Right, but what I'm saying is you're transcending into the other dimension, into your other life. So like, I know it sounds like the multiverse theory. I know it sounds crazy, but if we are living and there's other, like deja vu, what is deja vu? People assume it's to let you know that you're at this point of your life where you're supposed to be. Sure, that sounds great. Or have you lived it before? X, Y, Z. There's so many questions. But my whole thing is all these people that I do not know in this dream know me, but I'm living and they've known me forever. We're out and we're in a different world and we're having a good time. It's just a fun thought that what if I'm transcending into my other like multi-dimension line of life and I'm living in that other life as me, as a different person, but it's different choices, different lives that I made, but now I'm in that dimension. So these people do know who I am. And then when I wake up, I'm back here. Like I got into such a deep conscious state that I'm now in another dimension living as me in a different place. So that's why I thought it was weird, because nobody in science can explain why we have dreams. They go, oh, well, you've seen those people when you're out and you don't realize it and then they appear in your dream. Bullshit. No, I'm very observant of faces when I'm awake. I would know.
Right, but it's the faces that you don't observe, the ones that you just micro glimpse, and your brain remembers everything. Whether or not you can get it up into your consciousness is a whole nother story.
I get it. I just think there's more to it. Yeah, I just feel like personally, there's more to it than what science could even fathom, to be quite honest. I think science, people want to science stuff, but I think there's more to it than that. And I just find it very odd that when you go in these other places, they know you and they tell you things about yourself that you're like, that's not me, but they know it's you. And you look in a mirror and you're you, kind of. It's weird. It's very interesting. I don't know. Happens to me quite a lot.
Interesting.
Awesome.
I'm good with that. If the multiverse was good enough for Spider-Man, it's good enough for me.
And Loki, the new season of Loki's coming out, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, no, I
really,
I'd like to be my other self that I dream about. All that guy does is smoke weed and have sex. Life is good for him.
Hey, that's good, man. If you could be that, that's interesting. The fifth dimension, though, up and away.
Still, science is still trying to figure out exactly what it is. Yep.
In your beautiful balloon.
I heard that song one time and it triggered another song. Do you remember If You Had Wings? That ride?
You had wings.
Don't you remember that ride, Jeff? It was either at was it at Epcot Center? If you had wings.
Oh,
that would have been Epcot.
That you laid down? The glider one?
That's Soarin'. There's one before that called oh my gosh. If You Had Wings. Come on. Judy, say something. You know that ride. The something of flight. And I think it was at Epcot Center.
Probably. Eastern Airlines. She's
Yeah, that was the ride, right? The Eastern Airlines had a ride at Epcot Center. I think.
Eastern
North
Airlines.
England's a
Never
good
thought
series.
about
I'll look
that
into that
in
cruise
dog
set.
days.
Ooh, that's a good one, Seth. I love King Arthur.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit out there, folks. So we'll wrap it up. We're 20 minutes in. It was a good story, but now I did listen, interested in listening to what you were saying there about that. That was actually really cool.
My brain just drifts. I think about weird shit all the time.
Mine does too. Eastern Airlines ride. Yeah, where was that, Craig? Because I really want to know now that I brought that up. If you had wings, it was like if you had wings. But it always reminded me of that song "Up and Away" by the Fifth Dimension.
See, the Fifth Dimension. We were talking about it. You man.
I know the whole time I had noise cancellation on, but the whole time I played that entire song while Brittany was telling the story. Disney, that's right, Craig. I knew it.
So it's probably Epcot. Do you remember Body Wars at Epcot? I love that ride.
That's the Star Wars ride now.
No. Do you remember you would go back where like the journey? No, it was where they had the dinosaur ride at Epcot. But then you would go up into the old back building, and in that back building was Body Wars. It's not there anymore. Like it's closed to the public.
I thought it was at the studios, Disney Studios, and they turned that Body Wars in to that C-3PO ride deal.
Remember? No, Star Tours has been there forever.
No, there's a new one, not Star Tours.
Oh, no. All the Disney stuff's all new. They took over all the backlot area and stuff like that. No, Body Wars was in Epcot, and it was up in the back building where they used to have like all the old
I like Captain Nemo.
And they had like beer and wine and stuff like that. Nemo's over there still. That's over by the aquarium.
Nemo or whatever, Captain Nemo or whatever.
Oh, I remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Me too,
dude. Took that out though.
Ride in the water, look out the bubble, and there'd be like little octopuses going like this through the water, like rubber going back and forth, and you're like, hurry up, and you can hear them talk, and you're like sinking, and then it like you go through the arms. Yeah,
20,000 Leagues. I haven't thought about that in years.
Captain Nemo, dude, where was that?
Captain Nemo ride was over by the giant aquarium. It's now the Nemo ride.
No, it's not a ride. It's not a ride. It was what was that called? I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna do it right now.
The Calypso was the Neptune was the submarine. What the
Disney.
fuck?
Yes, thank you, Craig. It was a Disney. It was over in Epcot by the Living Seas.
No, it's not the Living Seas. It has nothing to do with the ocean.
I didn't say that. I'm saying it was over in that area.
Let's see, Captain Nemo ride. Well, there was a one with Michael Jackson too. Wasn't that a Nemo something?
Michael Jackson was over by Figment of the Imagination ride. They don't have that there anymore.
Yeah, but that was Captain Nemo, right?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was at the Magic Kingdom,
right?
And Submarine Voyage was at Disneyland. Yeah, it was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Your host, Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yep, that's right. Tomorrowland. That's right. Craig was right. Yep, it was in Disney.
They still have Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland is where that ride was, where If You Had Wings, and it was called If You Had Wings, the Disney ride. It was an attraction at Walt Disney World. It was a 2-person, like a Cinnamon Over Dark ride over Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom. It was sponsored by Eastern Airlines, which Judy was right. It featured travel throughout the Caribbean, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was cool. Now I think it's Soarin'.
It is Soarin'.
Soarin' makes me very, very ill.
Makes a lot of people ill.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up for the night. I appreciate that. Thanks for chiming in and finishing. It was Michael Jackson's Captain Nemo. It was like a 3D thing, I think. He was
and they also had the Alien ride. They never should have gotten.
Oh, I love the Alien.
Where it would breathe on your neck.
Never should have gotten rid of that.
They got rid of that when Brittany was young.
They got rid of the Terminator one too with the screen, right?
Now it's like, damn it, it's Jason Bourne.
Yeah, now it's Jason Bourne at Universal.
Oh,
yeah,
have you seen that, Jeff? Have you seen it?
The Jason Bourne ride? I have not.
Oh my god, dude! They do They do a good job in there. Those guys, they got the job, dude. But you got to be. You want to talk about having to be athletic? Holy shit! I would do about 2 seconds of that. I would have to lay down. I'd be like, "Make me a bad guy, shoot me."
It's been a very long time since I've been described as athletic.
Yeah, make me a bad guy. It's the first opening. There he is.
Right? And you just got to lay down for a half hour. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but the guy who's playing Jason Bourne,
Man,
Dude,
those
you
sun
gotta see that
auditions are no
sometimes, Jeff.
joke.
Maybe when we go to horror night, sometimes those shows still go on. So we'll go in there and check.
You got to
that
go
out, too.
before. You have to go before horror night starts. Otherwise, they end. All those shows end when horror night starts. So you have to go a little before so you can see them.
Okay. Well, we'll go a little before. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
The black hole ride.
Oh, the black hole. That's right. I forgot about the black hole too.
Man, where
So
are all
many
the
good
good
old
stuff?
rides at
I got to
Disney.
look all this stuff back up again and figure it out. I mean, we started going to Disney when we were little kids before Brittany was even thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I don't know, man. That'd be cool.
When I went as a kid, it was when they were just starting to build Epcot, and they had this my father dragged me to some information movie about Epcot and what was going to be there, and so it was a long ass
Do
time.
you remember, Troy? We had the VHSs
Yep.
of the Disney experience. Like before we would go, we would put it in. You could here's what to expect, and you could see the little kid on Space Mountain and stuff. Oh man, I love those. And then Universal used to have those.
By the way,
what's that?
Oh my god!
I didn't ride Space Mountain until I was an adult. I rode Big Rock Thunder Mountain Railroad when I was a kid.
Bye, Seth. Love you too.
That one time, bro. The only thing I remember about that ride is you go really fast, and then it looks like you're going to hit this wall.
Yeah, and you drop, dude. That ride's still there. I love that ride, man. I take the kids on that ride. It's awesome.
I was like, I'm going to get my head ripped off. But
don't put your hands up.
Epcot
They will.
1982, I think, right? When it opened.
Yeah, so I think I went in 1980 or 81 to Disney with my parents.
Guys,
I had to drive down with my parents and sisters. It was a nightmare.
Like nobody even remembers over at. Do you remember the Alfred Hitchcock experience?
My mom went to Disney
at Universal Studios.
Her high school trip.
I didn't go to Universal until I moved here.
Oh my god!
No, maybe it was before. I went once before when I was down here.
They had the Herkinzina experience there too. We used to go to and see. It was in the same building as Hitchcock. Freaking great stuff. They used to do the whole Hitchcock chair and the Murder She Wrote. Remember, Murder She Wrote would be like, "Hi guys, welcome to the show. We're going to show you how we do all the behind the scenes and sound effects on the Murder She Wrote. They're going to walk through some gravel, but that's actually me over here doing this. Click, click, click. Do you remember that? I still remember that show like yesterday.
Cardboard box near a microphone.
Yeah, and it'd be like some girl like pretending to chew gum.
She wrote right.
Whenever you let Daniel come over, Jeff, he's going to show you how to sound like a tiger with your paper towel roll. He's really into that right now.
Sweet.
Really I heard that.
Yep. Yeah. I know he's next to me, so I had to say that. But yeah, he does paper towel sounds, and he's pretty good at it. He's like Police Academy.
Well, hopefully I'll be having Daniel over to help me pack up animals soon.
He was really hurt, and I was like, "Look, I've been trying to call Jeff. I just don't think he likes me." I'm like,
"What are you kidding? I love Dan, man."
Okay, Jeff's fucking busy, bro. He's working.
Dude, I've been crazy busy, and I don't I don't want to start doing full substrate changes and stuff until I move because it gets expensive, you know. Like those big, I buy those huge bundles of aspen chip, and they used to be like $12, and now they're like $28 or something.
Oh, I know, man. Well, that's what I do with Daniel here. He's real good at cleaning that stuff.
No, I want to give Daniel some more.
You overdo stuff like you're working
on a job planting tulips.
All right, Daniel, you heard it there first. If you want a job planting tulips,
he
wants to know if you want to plant tulips. Not push them, but yeah, we'll end the show. I appreciate everybody coming out. Thanks for joining us again. Talking about all the fun stuff that goes on and coming out and seeing me and Jeff and Brittany and Brett's company's on his way. Jimmy's out tonight with some stuff. So it's kind of cool. And it was good to catch up with you guys. Remember that came in with us and hear about some fun shit. It's a good little break during the week. That's why we do it. And we appreciate you guys because without you guys here, we would probably still do it, but it wouldn't be as fun.
And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, buddy. I know you're busy, so we're going to lose Jeff for the next
week.
2 weeks. So he won't be here next
week.
Or the week after.
I'll be back the week after. Yep.
So it's just 1 week.
1 week.
Yep. So he'll see us in 2 weeks. Yep.
Okay.
Another Thursday will be great, Jeff, and be safe.